So I will be discussing to you the retention, and specifically, I prefer to discuss to you the strategies for retaining millennials. So who are those millennials? Millennials are Gen Y, following X and preceding Z. Researchers and popular media use early 1980s as starting birth years and the mid 1990s to early 2000s as ending birth years, with 1981 to 1996 being widely accepted. So aside from the incentivizing, non-monetary, and monetary, there should be strategies for retaining millennials. Over the past 2 decades, a substantial amount of literature has accumulated in the realm of intergenerational differences, particularly the millennial generation has been argued to be starkly different from the rest in terms of attitudes and behavior. Some of the apparent departures from tradition are that millennials avoid cooking, prefer to learn online, share private details like salary with others, crave instant recognition, cohabitate before marriage, and rely on Google for a source of advice. The varied ways of life of millennials are also reflected in work settings. Millennials enter the workforce with unique needs, characteristics, expectations, and personalities. These differences pave the way for new challenges that contemporary organizations encounter on regular basis. Few of these differences may even create problems for other stakeholders, such as supervisors, co-workers, or even the organization on the whole. As millennials form the majority of the workforce today, it is time to address the problem next in line, the problem of retention. Millennials are job hoppers and are not found to stick to a job for more than a few years. Retention is important since loss of valuable knowledge workers stalls the growth and productivity of an organization. The question is, why do employees change jobs? There are multiple reasons why an employee may leave his or her job. Salary issues, want of better career opportunities, unmet work expectations, desire to change industries, individual emotional conditions, and so on, are some of the grounds on which individuals wish to exit their job. Millennials regard their own contributions to the organization as a more fulfilling accomplishment than their tenure of work. Hence, the defining characteristics and traits of the millennials must be leveraged to offer fruitful incentives. The managers need to build a model that attracts the millennials and keeps them glued to their workforce. The first model is internal branding. The organization must strive to work and maintain a brand image. Internal branding initiatives will ensure that employees are motivated in nurturing of the organizational brand. The employer needs to show themselves in a light superior to all other organizations, showcasing that they are furnishing their employees with the best they can get. It will help develop a deeper appreciation for a brand that internalizes their work attitudes and behavior. However, it requires intrinsically motivating human resource management policies and practices to develop emotional attachment to the organization and brand. To achieve this, employees must be communicated through value propositions of their organizational brand. The strategies and policies used to retain the older generations might prove to be ineffective for Gen Y. This is evidently because of the different work expectations that these generational cohorts have. Their larger-than-life aspirations from their organization are not fully realized, which leads to the dissatisfaction and the quest for better opportunities. Second model, increasing the digital workspace. There is no other thing a millennial loves more than a digital workspace. Since technology acts as a driving force for the millennials, they consider it impossible to survive in a workplace that has an outdated technical infrastructure. Employers needs to be updated on the technology and provide the best available technological setup for the millennial employee. Technology is not only considered a tool, but also a valued skill set. I would like to give a shout out to the university I am connected now, because each of us, the faculty, has given an Acer Intel Core i7 then 10th gen laptop just to cater the needs of the faculty in the delivering of education, along with the purchase of the learning management system, the Moodle, so we can cater also the needs of the students if we have an updated laptop. So they gave us the laptop, and some of my colleagues opted to have the internet connectivity, free internet connectivity, 5G for 2-year subscription. So that is an example of increasing the digital workspace. Third model, work flexibility, work-life integration, more than work-life balance. Both social life and work life are important to them, and they do not want to neglect one for the other. They yearn for the freedom to work at their own workspace, not just from their office desk. Almost all organizations are offering the provision of flexi time and work from home. And I would like to give you a model of our enhanced daily time record wherein we are given 15 minutes every day for our health and wellness. And also the learning and development were acknowledged by the university, along with other functions such as instruction, administrative research, extension, and research generation. So, fourth model, positive and supportive company culture. Millennials are social beings and want their workspaces to be social centers as well. According to a survey by Robert Walters, 30% of millennials considered meeting colleagues to be an important aspect of induction, in contrast to 1% of baby boomers and 15% Generation X. Fifth model, volunteering and CSR. For millennials, just work is not a priority. The millennial generation values principles of equality, inclusion, and philanthropy. They want to work for the community and work for the upliftment of the underprivileged. Sixth model, valuing engagement. It has been identified that apart from the inevitable career growth need, the other reason why most millennials quit their job is a lack of engagement at work. Millennials want extra benefits and perks through social activities, hands-on sessions, recreational time, and so on to have a feel-good factor while working in organizations. Seventh model, career development and learning opportunities. Managers must extend support to the career planning and development of the millennials. They want information about their path of progression in the organization at the time of induction itself. Millennials must be provided with goal-setting opportunities by the right mentorship. Most of them are ambitious, but may lack a proper direction for the fulfillment of their goals. Helping the employees set realistic and achievable goals goes a long way in nurturing their aspirations. Leaders should also promote forming team goals for increasing communicating and shared understanding between their employees. Structured goals will facilitate camaraderie and team spirit and will also help to understand each other's skills and orientations. Post-goal setting, The millennials should be provided with valuable feedback from time to time. It is time that bosses become mentors and guide the millennials effectively to build them as leaders of tomorrow. Mentors should help the mentees in learning the tricks of the organizations, the businesses, develop leadership, help to achieve personal goals, and along the way, fulfill the organizational objectives. And the eighth model, accepting mobility. Organization must overcome the fear of goodbye, even though it is tough to forgo valuable talent. Managements must learn to let their employees go. It is time for them to change the concept of retention. On the contrary, being more easygoing and supporting their decisions to move will only further bind them to the organization. Being more accepting towards a subordinate's decision to quit will leave a positive mark on the employee, which will ripple to a positive organizational reputation in the market. It will help to create goodwill in favor of the company, which will help to captivate more potential employees. It also leaves the door open for employees to join back. So I have here recommendation for managers. For an organization to be effectively manage and retain a talented workforce, the role of managers becomes extremely crucial, especially in the case of millennial employees. The following tips are likely to aid managers in their efforts of managing and retaining the millennial workforce. Here are adapting management style that helps in attracting, motivating, and retaining of millennials. Adopting a coaching approach while working with employees will help to develop employees, give them the right to take decision, and bestowing personal responsibility to employees will bring independence of providing feedback. This helps millennials to gain new skills on critical evaluation and finding path to answers by themselves. Investing time and effort to cultivate genuine relationship with employee to coach effectively. Trust is a motivational factor for building strong relationships with employees, and it also has significant effect on how employees will perceive feedback. Building trust amongst the employees towards the management. Managers should work to tailor their relationships and interactions to the unique needs of their individual employees. Managers should cultivate leading with individual consideration for more effective relationships. Further, employee will be more open to seek feedback on their performance. Put an effort into knowing them professionally and personally. When a manager shows care for his team, it builds a positive atmosphere to achieve professional success in an organization. Millennials feel more comfortable in informal settings compared to formal settings. Establish a mentor, coaching relationship, and treat them as colleagues so that you can help them to grow and improve. Position yourself a source of learning. Provide tools and learning goals to progress in time. If they realize that knowledge and skills are required to succeed, then they will learn their best. Help them in customizing their schedules, work assignments, projects, and career paths. Provide consistent and immediate feedback to get them back on track immediately, and do not wait for performance evaluations about work. Along with feedback, provide recognition and incentives and rewards for great performance. They do not like managers who are arrogant and approachable. Help them in customizing their schedules, work assignments, projects, and career paths. Recommendation for recruiters. Recruiters are the backbone of the company who have the arduous task of retaining millennials from joining their competitors. Below is a list of strategies that must be adopted in retaining their multi-talented millennials from getting poached by their rivals. Human resource managers are recommended to put special emphasis on perks and benefits while designing pay strategy for the younger generation, which is about to enter the workforce. I would like to give a personal experience on this. When I was at DepEd, I we usually receive what the government give us during May 15, November 15, and others. When I transferred to higher education, I received more than that. Why? Because we have many competitors here in our region that attracts most of the valued talents. So what the university I am attached to currently is they attract those millennials who have, I can say, talent to be with this, to be in our team. So I receive more than of what I receive from DepEd. Sorry, DepEd people, pero ito po yung katotohanan. And it is advisable to tailor make perks and benefits in terms of retirement and health. The university I am attached with owns a hospital. So even if the employees retires, they are given the benefit of free medical checkup for their compensation as a retired employee in this university. So libre po sila na magpa-medical checkup and with a discount for their laboratories if they need laboratories. So that is one way of tailoring regarding the benefits of terms of retirement and health. There is a strong relationship between experience and practice in the business world and the perception of importance of individual and team contribution to organizational performance. For organizations that build their competitive advantage of knowledge technologies, it is recommended to design different modalities of education and training outside the organization. I would like to give a shout out because every day we are being updated by our HR in our Facebook page regarding of the scholarships where we can apply to that, and they always encourage us to study outside USM, study outside the Philippines, and bring back what you have learned for USM and for our community. Recommendation for mentors. Following are some tips to engage millennials as followers to retain workforce in long term and grow them into assets in the organization. First, leaders will need to adapt and accommodate millennial leadership style. It is required to engage them as followers and eventually develop them as a leaders. Second, provide flexible work schedule and give importance to their work-life balance. Older generation should not misunderstand if they do not find their millennial colleagues in office from 9 until 5 every day. It does not mean that they are not performing. This is so true because during my stay in the DepEd, I have colleagues there which are younger than me. You cannot find them in the school. They go outside. They tend to have the extension outside, and you can but it doesn't mean that they are not performing. Actually, most of them are engaged in NGOs in helping remote barangays here in our municipality. So what we did is we make use of their attachment to the NGOs, and we plan a program for the strengthening of our department plan and tying up it from the NGO where they are connected. And a personal experience of mine, when leaders needs to adapt and accommodate millennial leadership style, there is a barrier between us and those who are advanced in age in terms of experiences. So I have a situation wherein my mentor is a graduate of not vertically articulated of in our department needs. So I have the background, I have the knowledge, I have the experience. So what I did is I approached her, my mentor, I approached her that I can also share knowledge and she can also knowledge. So we will going to meet in between. What she did is, but because of her advance in age, my my KSA, my knowledge, skills, and attitude was neglected. So ang nasunod ay yung sa kanya. So it should not be the case. Leaders will need also to adapt what millennials has. Kasi the leadership that she has might not work with my categorical cohorts. So there should be a meeting in between. So this ends my report. Sukran po sa pakikinig. I am Cheese Rabago Hanito. Thank you.